Hello guys, hope you guys doing well and you have a great weekend. Okay, so my name is Daniel and I'm coming from Energy Performance Solutions. We specialize in EPC assessments and EPC consultancy. Okay, so we give a lot of advice and provide lots of different services for landlords in the UK. Right, so the topic of today is the deadline that the government has confirmed. So by the 1st October 2030, all rental properties, all tenancies, new and old, will need to meet the EPC C rating requirement. So this has, sort of generated some talk around landlords and obviously some concern and preoccupation. But I would say do not panic. All right, do not panic, because of a lot of properties that we have assessed, EPC rating C is not that hard to achieve. Okay, so for example, we've seen properties, Victorian property, it's a Victorian property without wall insulation, just with the loft insulation, good boiler, good heating controls, mid-terrace. Those properties achieve the C rating. Okay, obviously each property is different. There'll be other elements in there, but just to say that you don't have to insulate everywhere to get to the C rating. In some situations you do. It depends on the position of the property, whether it's detached, semi-detached, mid-terrace, how much heat loss is in there. All these things are taken into account by the software. So what I would say, first thing to do, in fact, what you should not be doing, landlords, is to look at your old EPC that is 10 years old, and you look at the recommendations there, and you try to you apply those recommendations in the hopes that you'd get the C rating that it says there on those recommendations. So the issue is that those recommendations were valid at the time of that assessment for around that year, around that period. So 10 years on, even if you apply some of the recommendations stated there, you might not get to the C rate, you might be below. Reason being is because the government makes the criteria more strict over time, right? So meaning windows that were considered good 10 years ago now drop to average. The same for boilers and other elements in the property. All right, and the software also has changed quite a lot from 10 years ago. Okay, so that's something that landlords should not be doing, like just going out the recommendations from a really old EPC and work it from there. No, what landlords should be doing is get their property reassessed, okay, according to the current criteria. So you need to get a new EPC assessment done, not necessarily to lodge the report, but you need an assessment to gather all the information and to see according to the current criteria, what can we improve to get to the C rating, what kind of work is needed. All right, and for this you need not just an EPC assessment, you need an EPC consultant that will give you advice outside what the EPC certificate can produce. So with this advice, we're able to give you cost-effective recommendations and to give you different options of how to get to the C rating. All right, so this is very, very important, because what we don't want to do is to do some of the recommendations on the old report, and then you book your EPC assessment, and the person goes there and then produce a report, and then is a D rating or a C, and then the landlord naturally raised the question, but it did the works that were stated on the previous report. Okay, and that creates problems and frustration on both ends. And at that point that the works have been done, there's still things that you can do, but to avoid doing works blindly, is best to get an EPC assessor on a consultancy capacity that can visit the property, gather the data, produce a consultation report with all the recommendations possible for that property. Then you can make an informed decision as regards to the improvements. All right, this is the best way to go forward. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And if you find it useful, stay tuned because I'll be posting regularly about EPC assessments. Thank you very much. All the best, guys.